Okay. Okay. Now here comes my question. Six Sigma. I didn't go as far as you went with it, but I would like for you to talk about the methodology of Six Sigma and how it connects with the human.
Okay, excellent. Well, it's, most people are very familiar with what we call DMAIC, which is DMAIC. And I'll just run through that real quick. So the D stands for define. And I think that that's where people really kind of go wrong, is that they don't define the issues that they are facing clearly enough in order to come up with an approach that's going to be effective at mitigating the problem. I'll back up for a second and say this, that there is a distinction between lean and Six Sigma. Lean, from a 30,000 foot level is about reducing waste. And Six Sigma is about reducing defects. So let's make sure that people have that distinction as we go into this conversation. So one is about removing waste and the other is about removing defects. So in the Six Sigma world, if you think about defining a problem and making sure that you are data driven in the way you define that problem. So when did the problem start? So you would say from January 1st through March, 31st, XYZ occurred at this level. So you're defining what happened. How did you miss the target? Now, how do you apply that to a human? Well, that's very simple. We still need to measure. And when it comes to personal improvement or professional development, it's certainly very important to define your objective and what is holding you back from achieving that objective. So we might call that the defect or the problem. If we just say, for example, I want to get better at public speaking. Well, how do you know you're better? What are you basing that on? What does better mean? So that's where you would take the concept of define and define what you mean by better. Does it mean that you can speak extemporaneously? Does better mean that you get a certain type of feedback from your audience? Does better mean that you get it done on time and that you're better at your time management while you give a talk? So define is important, and it applies to the human being. The next step in Six Sigma would be measure. And I have a phrase that if you don't measure something, you're basically saying it doesn't matter. So you have to know what you should be measuring. So for example, if you want to improve your health and you say you want to get, part of improving your health might be losing a certain amount of unwanted fat. So you're going to want to measure that. Now, it's not always going to be measured in pounds. It could be measured by a body mass indicator. It could be measured by the size of the waist on your pants. However you want to define that, but make sure you do measure the starting, the baseline, so that you can see if you're making progress, because the measurements will tell you if you're on track. Are you on a trajectory where you're making the improvements at the pace that you predefined according to the methodology you're using for improvement? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so far, great.
Yeah.